Hello everybody, my name is Gabe, and this is episode 3 to my Unity C# programming tutorial series. In this episode we're going to be going over how to access other scripts in Unity. So I'm going to start off by just removing everything that we have here, and I'm going to go into Unity. And to start this, I'm going to make two different game objects. So I'll make, game object 2, and we're going to make another script. I'll just call this episode 3. I don't really know what to call it. And put that script on your new game object. And we're going to open that script as, with the other one as well. Alright, so after you have that script open, I'm just going to remove everything here because we're not going to need it right now. And in Hello World, we'll just keep everything the way it is, with just our start method. Okay, so in episode 3, I'm going to make a public integer called health, and I'm going to make it, I'll actually just make it 100. And if we go to Unity, we'll be able to see that, we could see that right here. So what I want is to be able to access that variable, or from this script, from this one. So I want to be able to have this script access this game object and then access the script that's on this game object right here. So how we do that is we make an instance of that script, and what that means is we sort of make a copy of it in a way. So if we do episode 3, we type in the name of the script, and you can do private, it's just like a variable. Episode 3, I'll just call this episode, or I'll just call this, episode 3, and then semicolon, you've made a copy of it. And in start, we have to make it equal to game object dot find game object with tag. And over here, we have to give this a tag. Now this is how I like to do it. You can also search for it with its name in the hierarchy, but I'm just gonna add a tag here called episode, or I'm just gonna call this game object 2, and then I'll tag this with game object 2. And back in here, find game object, open parameters, what game object, so that's game object 2, because that's the name of the tag, dot get component, so we're getting the component, and then we use this triangle thing. I'm not really sure why. It's called I think it's part of generics or something. So then we type in what we're looking for. So we're looking for the episode 3 script, and then parameters and semicolon. So what's happening is we have created this variable, and then we're making it equal to game object at find game object with tag game object 2. So it's going to find this object, and then on this object it's going to find this component episode 3. Alright, so it might take you some time to memorize how to do that, but one day you'll get the hang of it. So that's that. So in start, I'm going to debug that variable, so debug.log episode 3, and then we want to debug health, so dot health, and now we want to debug that variable on this script, health, and we can do that because it's private. If I set this, for example, to private, we will get an error. It's inaccessible due to its protection level. So I'll just change this back to public, and when we start, we should see in the console 100, and there it is, 100. Now to get the script from the same game object, because you can put multiple scripts on one game object, I'll just I'll disable this for now, and over here I'll take this episode 3 script and put it on our first game object with the Hello World script, and instead of doing game object that find game object with tag, we're going to remove that, so episode 3 is equal to get component episode 3. This is short for transform.getComponent. We could do that as well, which finds the transform, which is the object, and finds the component within it. But I don't know, you could do that if you want. I don't do that. I just leave it like that. And this should work exactly the same. We should see 100 if we hit play. And there it is. And if I change this to like 20 or 25, you'll see it's now 25. You can also access other scripts. You can get the you can get other variables, not just integers. You can get strings, floats, doubles, booleans, things like that. So I'll just make a public bool. My bool is equal to false, and debug.log my bool, and we should get false in the console. Yep. And what you can also do is you can do methods. Anything that's public you can take from this class. So if I make a public method here, so I'll just I'll remove this part and make a public void. Let's see, debug health, and I will do debug.log health. So if I go over here and do let's see, episode 3.debug health, that should work just fine. So if I go over here, hit play, what's happening is we did get 100 because this script, we create the instance, and in our start method on the first frame, we set that instance to the component on our game object, which is right here, episode 3. Should probably change the name of it, but whatever. And then we access episode 3, and then we do debug health, which is in episode 3. We have a debug health, which then prints this variable inside of it. Now, this variable could now be private because, well, we're accessing the script to do this, and now it has nothing to do with the other script. So if I hit play, it will still get 100. And that works just fine. If you like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and have a good one.